Hello. Anyway, this video is actually going to be about a subject that I did touch on previously, kind of. I think it was last year. I was responding to the question that a viewer, I shouldn't say listener, but a viewer, sent me on Instagram, because he said that when he was checking online, he saw different motorbikes with different color registration plates. So, just to quickly go through it again, okay? There's green, white, yellow, and red. Green plate are up to from 50, let's say, to 90cc. Above 90cc to 250, it's white. From 250 to 499, it's yellow. And then anything above 500cc is red. So that's actually just a very, very quick explanation of that situation again. Now, except for green and the white registration plates, basically yellow and red are kind of seen as cars. Actually, this is quite a beautiful spot you can see behind me. But anyway, I'll show some B-roll maybe. To quickly explain it, basically yellow and red plate more or less follow the same rules as cars most of the time, meaning they can make left-hand turns at red lights. If it is a green or white plate, you have what's called a J-turn, which means you have to go to a box which is on the right, wait for another light, and then be able to go in the direction you're going, which is a bit inconvenient. Red and yellow plates don't have to do that at all. They could just turn like they would with cars. The same in that yellow and red plates can park in car parking spots, whereas green and white cannot. Yellow and red plates have access to expressways, whereas green and white plate scooters and motorcycles need to either, if there's one available, go in the special lanes that are for them, or on the right-hand side of the road. Now, that is a very quick explanation. You can go to the video that I did last year. I'll try to put a link in the description box below so you can click on that one. Now, this is where there's actually a little bit of a problem. So as I said, yellow and red have basically the same rights as cars. So for example, they can go on expressways, which green and white plates cannot do. Then we have the freeways. Yes, the freeways are different from the expressways. They're a lot faster in many ways if you want to go from point A to point B. They're wider and everything. Now, the large motorcycles, red and yellow plate, cannot use those, despite the fact that probably 10 and some months ago, years I should say, 10 years and some months ago, they did pass a law saying that yellow and red plates can use the freeways. So the law is there saying, for example, I can get on the freeway. But at the same time, it's illegal to get on the freeway. And it has to do with a very confusing law. So you have a law saying you're allowed to do it, but yet the law that says you're not allowed to do it is still in place. And there's been a lot of pushback against from the motorcycle community here in Taiwan to get this finally resolved. So, for example, you have Taipei City, New Taipei City. So parts of the freeway that are in these areas, they said, yeah, you can use the freeway. But in other areas, Tainan, Taichung, Kaohsiung, and so on, the local government is saying you cannot. This is where it gets into a bit of a problem, because it is just ridiculous. And the reasons they're saying they don't want it are just dumb, are really dumb. So there's a guy here in Taiwan by the name of Evan, who I only met for the first time a few weeks ago. And he has a popular YouTube channel, and he's a lobbyist to try to get this resolved. for just over 10 years now, people have been either protesting or trying to speak to government officials to get it changed. But that doesn't seem to get anywhere. And as you know as well as I do, government officials are the same everywhere around the world. They like to talk, they like to make promises, and then of course the promises, either they have short-term memories and they forgot that they made the promises, or they go back on them and saying, oh, the time is not right now. And that's what they've been doing for over 10 years. So he's taking a different approach now, which is civil disobedience. Which of course is not the ideal solution, but I think, after you've exhausted every route to try to do it through proper channels, the only way is through civil disobedience. Now, a few weeks ago, well, let me just run the video and you'll see what I mean. So, you see, it's really strange. By law, he should be, and I should be, and everybody else with a yellow and red plate should be allowed to get on the freeways. The law is there. And it's been passed. But then, local officials and local police in different areas are so dishonest and so corrupt that they just cannot finally decide when or how to do it, or keep making tons and tons of excuses. The weird thing, though, is if we talk about, let's say, police. Okay, and I'm not going to... I shouldn't make a blanket statement like this, but I would say that a large percentage of the police here in Taiwan are... I'm talking about the traffic police, are honest people. The problem is, there is a small group that are incredibly corrupt and give the good officers that are involved in traffic an extremely bad name. And the kind of police corruption that exists here, which there's police corruption everywhere in the world, is slightly different. Now, in the last 18 months, this past week, as of the recording of this video, the chief of police for Taipei was heavily criticized because he was invited to a ceremony where there was also a well-known gangster. And he said he didn't know about it, it was just coincidence. Well, the reality, of course, is that is complete nonsense. A few months ago, in the city of Geelong, which is the northern city here in Taiwan, I believe it was between 14 and 16 police officers were suspended without pay and even fired, in some cases, for attending a Chinese New Year's do that was organized by one of the gangsters in that area. So this is the problem. And these are the ones that give all the other officers a really bad name. And the police are silly because they know darn well the law is passed and we should be able to use it. But then some corrupt officials, either because they're not making money and they're not being able to put money in their pocket, are saying, no, you cannot. So it is a very unique situation, which has actually led Evan to do more civil disobedience. But the problem with civil disobedience, and because of the amount of corruption that is especially in these police forces, how would I put it in a very, let me try to explain it in a very diplomatic way. So, for example, you can have an official and people are against what he says and what he does, and he's very corrupt, and you try to either protest against him or bring up this issue to kind of push the subject with some kind of action, And for some reason, he finds out about this action, but you haven't told anybody. Do you follow where I'm getting at? So, this is how corrupt some of these officials are. It is a situation, of course, that has to change. And I honestly think that Evan is doing it the right way. Civil disobedience. So I am hoping that he organizes something very soon. I can also go and have a confrontation with, what is the word that is used for police in some countries? Pigs. Yes, pigs. Or the constabulary. Or the little Hitlers. And it's pretty much, not well, some places I think are worse than others. But I think that's a good thing. Because you pass a law, the government passes a law, and then takes over 10 years to say, go ahead and do it. But the law is passed, and the law says we should be able to do it. It is completely, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's all there is for this video. A little bit of a rant, but that's not so bad. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you very, very soon. I'm going to go to have my coffee because I ordered a coffee around 10 minutes ago, and I've been outside doing this. So, I'll see you soon. Ciao.